Hello, and welcome to Living Beyond Limits. I am Reverend Jennifer Spear, and we are part of Centers for Spiritual Living. I am so glad that you've joined us here today for this online service. I would like to ask you to have a pencil or a pen and a piece of paper ready because I have some questions to ask you during this talk so that you have an opportunity to answer them. And so when we are normally in person with each other having a service, one of the things that we do at the very beginning of that service is say good morning to the people that are sitting near us. And since we aren't sitting near any of those people right now, what I invite you to do is just to close your eyes for a moment and to imagine some of those people that sit near you. And if you don't attend our services in person, to just imagine in your mind's eye some of the people that you love and care about. Perhaps some of the people that you have not been seeing because we are staying safer at home right now. And so to hold those people in your mind's eye and to send them some of your love. Because that's really what we're doing when we say good morning to each other. To send them some of your love and to see them wrapped in that love. And how healing and how uplifting that is. How nurturing it is to our souls, to our hearts. And to see those people standing in their own authentic power and in the truth of their own spiritual wholeness. And to know that as you are doing that, that you are actually sending that person a blessing. Because you know what? God doesn't really speak in words. Those images move us into that energy flow of the divine. And that's exactly what you're doing, is sharing that energy of the divine. And so how good it is to know also that as you are doing that for someone, that there is somebody who is watching this that is doing that same thing for you, sending you a blessing and wrapping you in that energy of love. And so as we begin this service today, I invite you just to settle into yourself. Our practitioner, David Conant, is going to come up and do an evocation as we begin to evoke an awareness of the presence of Spirit that is always right where we are, and do a contemplative reading for us. And so I invite you just to begin to kind of settle into yourself, into your own body, and into that place within you of stillness. The place within you where there is silence, the place that is just beingness itself. And to allow yourself to rest there for a moment.
I now move my thoughts to a familiar place where I can always and easily recognize the presence of Spirit. This is creative intelligence. It is everywhere. The mountains, lakes, rivers, all of wildlife, and in our lives. There is great beauty everywhere, and that is because pure Spirit is present everywhere. It is here, now, as living beyond limits, and we are all one with it. I bless Reverend Jennifer, and I am grateful that Spirit flows through her and directly into our lives. We all have a deep and significant connection with Spirit. I bless everyone today as we experience our oneness with the Divine Mind. And so it is. Hello. My reading today is from 365 Days of Richer Living by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker. And the title is, I Am Happy in the Harmony of God. Today, I am realizing that all my thoughts are formulated in the Divine Mind. All my actions are sustained by the infinite energy. All the power there is, and all the presence there is right where I am. Therefore, I open the channels of my thought to the influx of this divine presence, which is now doing something unique and different through me. I feel the impact of this presence in my own mind and life. I sense its feeling and imagination in my own thinking. I see it operating through all my actions. And since there is no big or little, everything becomes important because everything is the self-expression of that within me which doeth all things well. Therefore, I surrender myself completely to that one power, that one all-knowing mind, that one presence which is beauty and love and peace and joy. And so it is.
Thank you, David. Nice. And so I'd like to share with you our mission statement that's on the front of our bulletin. So if you know it by heart, you can say it along with me. And if you don't, I invite you just to take this in. It goes like this. We are a sanctuary where people can discover and reveal the presence of God within their own being and experience their oneness with all life. Through the realization of this inner presence of love and peace, we give way to the evolutionary impulse of the divine and become a beneficial presence in the world. So that's what we're doing here at Living Beyond Limits, is we are awakening to our own divine nature. We are awakening to the fact that that one presence, that one power, that one life essence, that one love and intelligence and good is everywhere present in this entire universe, and that it is ever present within us. That means then that when we are out in the world and the world is not reflecting back to us peace or love or kindness or joy, we can tap into that presence that lives within us and bring it forward. And as we do that, we come to the world then more loving and more peaceful and more kind and more generous and more caring. And as we do that, then we are acting as a beneficial presence in this world through our actions, through our impact, through our influence, and simply because we are all connected to each other and part of this whole, we are actually making an impact on that whole presence as we bring the divine into this world in a greater way. And so I say thank you to each and every single one of you for walking the spiritual path and for saying yes to the call of the divine within you to bring that presence into this world in a way that benefits us all. Thank you for that. And so recently, a lot of the things that had opened in California have been reclosed due to a COVID-19 spike in California. And as a result of that, many of us have dialed back the things that we had given ourselves permission to go out and do. We're staying at home more again and doing much less out in the world than what we've been doing. And so as we are staying safer at home, and as we are not going out into the world, it can feel really confining. Does that feel confining to you, the things that are going on right now? And as we stay home more, it's easy to get bored. And it's easy to feel a little bit depressed, and it's easy to get grumpy. You know, it's easy to get frustrated because we aren't going out to eat. We're not going to our favorite restaurant. We don't get to go to the movies. We don't get to go to the mall and go shopping. We don't even get to sit in our friend's living room and visit. All of that feels confining to me. But I know that what we really want is we really want to live with a sense of joy. We want to live in joy. We want to feel satisfied and fulfilled. We want to have that sense of aliveness that we get from being with people and from being with our friends. We want to have that sense of variety in our lives that we get from going out to eat and getting to eat different foods than the ones that we normally prepare at home, or different styles of cooking, or different expertise at cooking than what we actually have. We want to go shopping so that we can have something new and different in our lives, that same variety thing. We want to sit in our friend's living room and visit because it feels comfortable, and because being in that relationship and being together opens our hearts and makes us feel more alive and lets us feel the love that already lives inside of us. You know, we don't feel the love so much from another person as it fans the love that's already inside of us, and we get to feel our own love from being together. And so the problem really isn't so much that we are being limited by outside circumstances, that we are being limited by the new rules or by the new guidelines that have been put out by the state. The problem really is that we get stuck in our thinking, that we get stuck in a box, stuck in a rut of our own making, and then we fail to get out of that rut. Ernest Holmes says, we are not bound by limitation, but by our limited thought. And so our ability to experience joy and aliveness and fulfillment is not limited by the circumstances in our lives. Instead, we are limited by our thinking, but limited by our creativity, or not using the creativity that already lives within us. Because the truth is, we have access to unlimited creativity. We have access to infinite possibilities and infinite potential. Because the nature of God, the nature of life, the nature of the universe is creativity itself. And because we are a microcosm of that macrocosm, that means then that creativity is our own nature. That creativity is the nature of our minds. Creativity is the nature of our beingness. It's our essential nature. And so what happens, though, is instead of doing the same old thing over and over again, we are being invited to step into that creativity that already lives within us. We are being invited to step outside of our box. We are being invited to step out of doing those same things over and over and over again, like watching TV, all day or all night, or watching the same TV shows over and over again, or cooking the same meals and eating the same food, cleaning the house yet again, taking our dog for a walk in the same neighborhood, doing the same work, going to the same job, doing the same things. And it seems like when we are more confined to our homes, we tend to do that even more, to get kind of into that rut and just do the same things over and over again. So we're being invited to tap into our creativity and to step out of our usual box. And so the title of my talk today is Enjoy Your Stay. Enjoy your stay at home. And so I'm talking about when we use our creativity, it actually places us in a place of expansiveness. When we express and use our creativity, we expand. And we bring forward more of life, and we bring forward more of ourselves, the part of ourselves that have been untapped until now, the part of ourselves that have been undiscovered, the aspects of life that we have not tapped into yet or have not yet discovered. And as a result of that, we experience greater joy and greater fulfillment, greater satisfaction, and a sense of greater aliveness. Ernest Holmes says, God is more completely expressed in the person who lives largely than in the person who lives meagerly. That means that as we live fully, as we express ourselves, as we discover more about ourselves, as we express life and more of life, the universe, God, is more completely expressed in us and through us. And so I have a friend, Pam, who has a son and a daughter, ages 12 and 15. And since COVID-19 started, and since things have been shut down and we've all been under this staying safer at home, she and her children have been traveling the world virtually. They have been watching Nat Geo videos about all different countries and different cities. They have been going on virtual walking tours. They have been researching lots of different places. So actually, is what they do is they decide, where do we want to go? And then when they decide that, let's go to Paris. Then they start researching and finding videos on Paris and walking tours on Paris and the different things that there are to do. There's so many virtual tours and videos about places. Maybe if they're going to the Great Barrier Reef in Australia, they go diving and get to be under the water and see those things. And then not just do they go and watch those videos, read magazines and books about it, all those things, they actually then do some research about the food of the country and what are the typical dishes that they eat there. And then they all pick one of those dishes, and each one of them makes one of those dishes, and then they have dinner and they eat the dishes from that country, as well as setting the table as best they can to represent that country with the things they have in their house. So they're literally getting to get out of their house and be on vacation somewhere else. How creative is that? How much is that getting outside of the box? And so I looked up the word creativity, and the definition says creativity is the ability to transcend traditional ideas, rules, and patterns, and instead to create meaningful new ideas, new forms, new methods. Creativity is imaginative, ingenuity, and inventiveness. Pam's family is certainly transcending the traditional patterns that they normally do in their daily life. They are certainly transcending the traditional ideas of which they normally live with. They are absolutely being ingenious and inventive. And so we are being called to step out of our own self-imposed limitations and to step out of the limitations that have been that we feel like have been placed upon us, that feel like they're making our life more confined and smaller, and to expand in our thinking what it is that we can do to change that. We are being called to be creative in our thinking, to be inventive, and to be imaginative. And so at my house, we have been cooking lots of new things. And we've been looking through magazines and going through them to find things that we might like to eat that we've never had before, cutting those things, those recipes and pictures out of magazines. And it's been so fun to eat something different and to eat something new and to make something new that I've never made before. We have been going for walks in different neighborhoods besides our own and taking our dog for walks in different neighborhoods. We have gone down to Bluff Park and looked at all the beautiful big houses on 1st Street and 2nd Street and walked up and down the streets and then walk along the bluffs and get to see the ocean. And it's so fun to get to see those houses. We really like old houses. We also went for a drive one day to Anaheim because there's a lot of old houses in Anaheim. And we actually discovered one street that all the houses on that street had actually been moved to that street. And it's a row of these old houses that had been built in the 1800s. Houses with wraparound porches and turrets and the shingles that you see on Victorian homes. And each one of them is totally different than the other one. And it's so fun and exhilarating to see something new and to do something new. And so if you don't already know, Living Beyond Limits is doing something new. We are starting this week that on Thursday mornings we're going to meet at the park for coffee and donuts. You bring your coffee and I'll provide the donuts. Bring a chair and we will social distance, physical distance from each other and have coffee and donuts together as a way to get to be connected to each other and be in each other's company and get to see what's going on with each other and feel that connection again. Joy Janes, who is one of our members, is taking a class online and learning how to speak Spanish. One of my friends, Diane, is volunteering with an organization in Long Beach that is giving out diapers to people who are in need with little babies during this COVID time. I know that I've heard that there are many animal shelters that are almost empty right now because so many people are fostering animals because they're home all the time right now. I've gone to the grocery store and there's been no flour on the shelves because so many people are baking. And so my question to you, this is when you can get out your pen and your paper. My question to you is, while you are staying safer at home, what would you like to do that you have never done? What would you like to do while you're staying safer at home that you've never done before? What would you like to learn as you're staying safer at home? Learn about some other countries? Would you like to learn to do something? What would you like to learn to do? To cook better? To learn a computer program? To learn to speak Spanish? Or to learn how to play the guitar? To learn how to ride a bike? There's so many options. What would you like to do? What would you like to learn? And what would you like to learn to do? And so after this video is over, I invite you to spend some time thinking about that so that you can get out of your box of what you've been doing. How would you like to use your creativity in a new way? Because that feels fulfilling. And so as we step out of our box, and as we do something new, and we do something creative, and we learn something new, life gets bigger for us. Life feels bigger. And then we feel freer and less confined. Then we feel more alive, and we feel more energetic. The freedom to choose is energizing. Doing something new is energizing. Learning something is energizing. Getting outside of our box gives us energy. And all of that puts us in the flow of creativity and in the flow of possibility. Puts us in that realm of possibility. Our openness does. And so my invitation to you this week is to try something new. Do something you've never done before. Step out of your box and get out of your rut. Explore something you've never explored before. Discover something. Create something. And as a result, you will be experiencing more joy and more aliveness, and experiencing life in a greater way, and experiencing yourself in a greater way. And you will be enjoying your stay. And so blessings to you on this path of self-discovery, on this path of discovering life, because really we are here to grow and to expand and to become more and more and more of our own potential. And that's what doing something new gives you the opportunity to do. And so blessings as you discover more of yourself and more of life. And so I invite you to join me in an affirmative prayer. And so I turn my attention to that infinite potential of this universe, to that boundlessness, recognizing that yes, indeed, we do live in this realm of boundless possibilities. We live in this energy of creativity. For this entire universe has come out of the creativity held in that divine mind. The creativity that is the very nature of life, and that we live in this field of creativity. And that it lives within us regardless of if we consider ourselves creative or not. That divine potential is always beckoning us forward to discover more, and to be more, and to live out fully and with joy and with fulfillment and with satisfaction. And so today I know that there is something new that is stirring inside of us. And it is our own spirit. It is the part of us that, yes, indeed, knows that there are no limits, that there are no limitations, and that invites us to live beyond limits. And so today we listen within to our hearts of what it is that we would like to do. We listen to our hearts of what sort of creativity we would like to bring forward. We listen to our own inner beingness of what it is we'd like to learn. And as we step forward, I know that we are carried by the entire universe forward into that success and into that fulfillment. For as we do so, we are allowing the universe to unfold itself in a greater way. And that is its nature. And so we step in today as recipients of all the good, as expressors of life and joy and abundance, and how good it is to live this life. And so we are inspired, and we are uplifted, we are carried, we are buoyed into the fullness of our own individual lives and the fullness of life. And so I release this prayer into that infinite law of the universe, knowing that it is unfolding itself now, simply because we have opened ourselves to it, simply because we are accepting of it. And so I release this and I say, and so it is. And so thank you so much for being with us here online today. Again, I will tell you we are meeting for coffee and donuts at 10:30 at Hartwell Park on Thursday morning. So if you would like to join us for that, you need to email me, because we are only doing 10 people at a time. So email me at livingbeyondlimitscsl@gmail.com, and we'll sign you up for a Thursday morning. We are also doing Thursday evening Zoom calls of spiritual practice and connection with each other, where we are getting to do some sort of meditation and answer some introspective questions and get to love each other and be in the company of our open-hearted sharing and connection with each other. That is very soul-satisfying and fulfilling to do that. I would like to thank you for your ongoing, continued support of Living Beyond Limits. It is allowing Living Beyond Limits to continue to pay me my salary so that I can eat. We are continuing to pay our sound technician, Cameron, and our child care provider, Alicia. And Cameron has actually been helping Ray out a little bit and learning how to do some new technology and a new editing program for these videos. And Alicia is beginning to do Zoom calls with the kids from Junior Church, putting together a lesson, and they're meeting once a week so the kids can be connected to each other and so they can continue to live the spiritual life and discover these things about life and their own selves. And we've also, I would love to share with you, we've been in the black every month since we started this. Thank you very much. And we have actually been able to give our musicians some money, because all of our musicians, their work has been cut drastically, and many of them, that is their sole source of income. So we have been able to support them some during these months also, which makes me feel really grateful. And I really feel like we are the spiritual family, and it is our duty and our job and the right thing to do to continue to support them to the best of our ability. So I really thank you for enabling us to do that. We still have Ministry of Prayer, so if you have a prayer request, if you will email it to Barbara Conant or to Living Beyond Limits, or you can text Barbara or call her, we are happy to support you. We have prayer shawls that we are happy to gift you with if you would like to be wrapped in that energy of prayer, or know somebody that would like to be wrapped in that energy of prayer as we move through this time. We are happy to make that happen. Again, you can call, text, or email Barbara Conant. And we also invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which makes it an easy one click then for you to watch these Sunday services as we do these online. And so blessings to you this week. I look forward to seeing you back here again next week, almost as much as I look forward to seeing you in person, which is what I really look forward to. So until then, take care. Lots of love to you.